Shipboard security has always been a vital part of maritime safety. Today, we're even more concerned and aware of security since terrorist attacks have targeted not only skyscrapers and embassies, but also our ships at sea. Piracy, sabotage, stowaways, hijacking. These threats to maritime security are hardly new. Today, however, the added threat of terrorism has raised the stakes. The response to the new threat has been new awareness and new resolve. In the United States, the Maritime Transportation Security Act of 2002. And internationally, the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, now simply known as the ISPS Code.
It's important to us that we ratchet up security internationally. And so the United States has just concluded an agreement with 102 countries in December to implement an international code related to ship and port facility security around the world.
The ISPS code requires that a ship have its IMO number clearly marked on the hull, a continuous synopsis record, or CSR, of the ship's history, a security alert system, or silent alarm, a ship security plan approved by the vessel's flag state, which will issue an International Ship Security Certificate. The ISPS code details security requirements in two parts: a mandatory Section A and a series of guidelines about how to meet these requirements in a non-mandatory Section B. Some port states, including the United States, will require that ships comply with both Parts A and B.
The United States, along with many other countries, are implementing both Part A and Part B of the ISPS code, of the International Code. So we consider it very important that, and highly recommend that countries adopt both parts. Before vessels come to the United States, we'll be requiring that they comply with both parts.
The security standards set by the United States and by the International Maritime Organization are very similar. Each requires the development of a ship security plan, and each identifies two key individuals who are crucial to security planning. The company security officer, among other duties, advises company ships of threat levels and vulnerabilities, ensures development and maintenance of ship security assessments and plans, provides adequate training for those responsible for ship security, and works closely with ship security officers. The company security officer has a counterpart on each ship, the ship security officer. The ship security officer, among other duties, conducts regular security inspections of the ship, maintains and implements the ship security plan, supervises security aspects of cargo and stores handling, proposes modifications of the plan, reports security deficiencies to the company security officer, enhances security awareness and vigilance, ensures adequate security training, reports security incidents, coordinates with the company security officer and the port facility security officer, and maintains security equipment. Ship owners and operators, port officials, governments must all take protective measures under the new security regime. Even before conducting a formal security assessment, these 7 protective measures should be in place. First, ensuring the performance of all vessel security duties. Second, monitoring restricted areas to ensure that only authorized persons have access, such as bridge, engine room, and machinery spaces. Third, controlling access to the vessel, ladders, gangways, side ports. Fourth, monitoring of deck areas and areas surrounding the vessel, using lights or alarms, for instance. Fifth, controlling the embarkation of persons and their belongings, identification and inspection. Sixth, supervising the handling of cargo and vessel stores, document verification, and physical examination. And seventh, ensuring that port-specific security communication is readily available, means of reporting security information. It's the responsibility of governments under the new security codes to set security levels or threat levels. These levels were created to allow port states to communicate the level of threat in each port. The ISPS code sets 3 threat levels. Level 1 is business as usual, but still vigilant. Level 2 is the heightened threat of an unlawful act in a port or on a ship. Level 3 means the threat of an unlawful attack is imminent. Threat levels are based on a careful monitoring of intelligence information. In the United States, the Coast Guard now requires a 96-hour advance notice of arrival in U.S. ports and asks ships for 36 different pieces of background information to evaluate.
We take that information and are very aggressively laundering it to the right agencies and getting feedback about any concerns so we can act on them and control that vessel's movement before it gets to the United States.
And we're going to be seeing security coming from
The ship's security assessment is an essential part of the process of developing and updating the ship's security plan. The security officer is in charge. He must conduct an on-scene survey of the ship, and his assessment must include at least 4 other elements. First, identification of existing security and response measures, procedures, and operations. Second, identification and evaluation of key ship operations, including sensitive areas that should be designated restricted areas. Third, identification of possible threats to the ship and the likelihood of their occurrence. Fourth, identification of weaknesses or vulnerabilities on the ship, including human factors in infrastructure, policies, and procedures. The security assessment involves preparation, paperwork, and eventually an on-scene security survey of the state of the ship, with a special emphasis on security. Both the United States Coast Guard and the International Maritime Organization have issued guidances on developing security plans and conducting security assessments, checklists, rules, tips.
There's been a lot of work already done since 9/11. Been a lot of work done locally by our captains of the port, working with port communities. We've developed some benchmark guidance that's in existence right now.
With these checklists in hand and the preparations we've outlined in this program, we're ready to proceed to the second crucial phase of shipboard security planning, the security survey.